Chapter 1860. What does this have to do with me? Wu Chen was secretly speechless. He had a feeling of being *ket up. If you want to get married, then so be it, but what does this have to do with me? Although young Master Si Ming was quite good-looking, anyone would be annoyed if someone arranged a marriage for them out of the blue. Besides, Dustless wasn't the kind of person who lacked love, nor was he the kind of person who was infatuated with women. However, Dustless wasn't that interested. Why did young Master Fu Su choose me? Wu Chen suspiciously glanced at Fu Su, then looked at young Master Ming, who was as calm as an ancient well. He saw her calm and peaceful expression, as if everything had nothing to do with her. Why can't I choose you? Fu Su asked in puzzlement. Then, he said his true thoughts. You are about the same age, and Master Zichen and young Master Ming are both peerless geniuses. What's wrong with that? Dustless was speechless. Although Fu Su's reason was a bit rough, it was undeniable that it was a bit persuasive. A talented man and a beautiful woman were a good match. I still think it's a bit inappropriate. At this moment, Zhang Liang suddenly said, the two are not familiar with each other. Isn't it a bit inappropriate to have such a hasty marriage? Enough, Zi Fang. Fu Nian, who couldn't listen anymore, his old face darkened. He knew his junior brother's experience. Although he didn't show it on the surface, deep down, he definitely hated the Qin state. Zhang Liang's family, in the past, had 5 generations of prime ministers. There was no doubt that they were definitely the type of prominent officials. Now that the family was destroyed, and South Korea was gone with the wind, they were full of hatred for the Qin state. It was normal for them to be dissatisfied with the Confucian school joining the Qin state's camp. However, the head of the Confucian school was Fu Nian after all. He had to consider the overall situation. Naturally, he would choose whoever he followed. Although it was a bit snobbish, it was inevitable. What's more, loyalty to the king was the root of the Confucian school's doctrine. If the Confucian school led a rebellion, then they would inevitably lose their prestige in the future. This matter is decided by me. You can leave, Zi Fang. Waving his hand, Fu Nian was like an ice cube, exuding a cold chill. Zhang Liang was speechless. Looking at the cold light brewing in Fu Nian's eyes, he finally sighed helplessly and left. If he continued to pester, he was afraid that this senior brother would really go crazy. Ahem. I still have things to do, so I'll take my leave for now. Coughing awkwardly, Dustless planned to find a quiet place to rest for a while. However, Fu Nian didn't give him a good opportunity and grabbed Dustless. Brat, you have to agree even if you don't want to. What's wrong with sacrificing your body for the Confucian family? He sneered disdainfully and said, I'm not interested in a loser. Let's stop here. The Yin-Yang school is just a small trick. Are you looking down on me? I've already lost once. How can I lose again? Young Master Ming snorted unhappily. She realized that Dustless was looking down on her. Just lost once. Some things can be changed, but some things can't be changed. Dustless stared at young Master Ming nonchalantly. His indifferent eyes were filled with silent contempt and calmness. The ground he stepped on instantly exploded, and the dense cracks were shocking to the eye. The explosion of the air wave attacked the green leaf long whip that surrounded him. Caw caw caw. The berserk spiritual pressure, in a crushing manner, tore the attacking green leaves to shreds, turning them into gravel-like granules that scattered all over the ground. How about this? Dustless's calm gaze swept across Xing Hun and Xiao Ming's faces. He said indifferently, Xiao Ming, your strength has indeed improved, but your luck isn't too good. You picked the wrong enemy. I won't give up. Upon hearing this, Xiao Ming bit her lips and clenched her fists tightly. She looked at Dustless with great reluctance. Not bad. Xing Hun nodded expressionlessly, but a storm was brewing in his heart. He was very wary of Dustless's strength. Due to the fact that he was too fast, he didn't know what was going on. Are you all so bored? Fu Su, you called me here just to watch children fight. Moreover, the performance of the school of Yin Yang is really disappointing. At this moment, an ethereal voice appeared out of nowhere and landed in everyone's ears. This crisp and pleasant female voice could be identified as a girl even if one closed their eyes. However, what was hard to understand was that there was no one else around except for Xiao Ming. Could it be, Wu Chen's spirit was refreshed? In his mind, an immortal-like, ethereal, and untouchable young girl suddenly appeared. So it's Master Xiao Meng. You're finally here. However, you seem to be late. The banquet has already ended. Fu Suning looked at the light figure floating in front of her. There was a rare trace of apology in her tone. It wasn't hard to see that Fu Suning respected this person. That's good. I'm not interested in children's fights. The light figure slowly walked over, getting closer and closer. Within the fog, one of the beautiful figures was faintly discernible, appearing extremely ethereal. It even gave people the illusion that this person was riding a cloud. She was right in front of them, but it felt like gold was on the horizon. People of the Confucian school, where is your Grandmaster Sun Zi? A few seconds later, the mist stopped in the middle of the hall. A young girl with a breathtaking appearance suddenly appeared. This person had a pair of slender white legs that looked like the most perfect masterpiece of the heavens. Her appearance was also impeccable, with a natural arrogance. Her deep eyes were filled with wisdom as if she had seen through the past of the mortal world. She was surrounded by immortal qi and her aura was extremely powerful. Facing such a young girl, everyone would feel a sense of inferiority. Is this Master Xiao Meng? She's really arrogant. Dustless gave her a thumbs up secretly. He was sincerely impressed by Master Xiao Meng's temperament. Yuexin and Xiao Ming were the type that stood aloof from worldly affairs. Even if you have an engagement, there's no need to be so serious. Dustless looked helpless. He stared at young Master Ming for a moment and said bluntly, "What is the purpose of your Yin Yang school? Forgive me for being blunt, but I find it hard to believe that you have a marriage alliance without any reason. You're quite smart." Young Master Ming's calm eyes flashed with surprise. She said bluntly, "The Yin Yang school does not want to form an alliance with the Confucian sect. Instead, it wants to devour the Confucian sect from its roots. In other words, it needs a suitable representative to rule the Confucian sect and become its subsidiary." Is that so? So they sent you here. Dustless was extremely calm. He had long known that the Yin Yang school's motive was not simple. Can I understand it this way? Dustless's eyes lit up. The Yin Yang school needs a suitable representative, and you feel that I have a bright future, so you chose me and hope that I can replace Fu Nian's position in the future. You're very smart. Hearing this, Xiao Ming nodded noncommittally and said, "Then what are your plans? If you sincerely want to be affiliated with the Yin Yang school, we can help you secretly kill Fu Nian and help you take the position. In the future, the head of the Confucian school will inevitably be you. After you and I get married, your status will inevitably rise, and everything will be logical." Sounds good, but I'm more concerned about what will happen if I refuse. Dustless asked with a smile. Will the Yin Yang school kill me immediately? That's not it. It's completely unnecessary. Young Master Ming shook her head elegantly and said with a calm and confident tone, "If you refuse, then let nature take its course. According to the Yin Yang school's arrangement, I will still marry you. In the future, we can still slowly devour the Confucian sect, but the time will be much slower." Is that so? The Yin Yang school is really calm. Dustless sighed and then left in boredom. He said, then you can wait. I'm not interested in the position of the head of the Confucian sect. You're a disciple of the Confucian sect. Shouldn't everyone yearn for Fu Nian's position? Young Master Ming frowned and chased after Dustless. She stood side by side with him. The position of the head of the Confucian sect is admired by everyone in the world. It's as dazzling as the stars. It's because it's too dazzling that I'm not interested. I don't have any great ambitions. I'm not interested in leading the Confucian sect and carrying it forward. Dustless shook his hand. These words were completely from the bottom of his heart. It was really tiring to be a boss. This was what Dustless learned from his experience in several worlds. I see. I'm suddenly interested in you. As a disciple of the Confucian sect, you don't care about the position of the head of the Confucian sect. It's really puzzling and curious. Chapter 1863. Curious and puzzled. Young Master Ming's answer left Dustless speechless. A Confucian disciple giving up the position of sect master was indeed a fantasy. After all, that position was once fought over by countless Confucian disciples. If you're curious and puzzled, I feel that you're even more difficult to figure out. Dustless looked at young Master Ming, whose face was covered by a veil, and felt somewhat surprised. Including this meeting, he and young Master Ming had only met twice, and their relationship was not good. Especially in the last competition, when Dustless defeated young Master Ming, and this time, it was the same. As a proud daughter of the heavens, young Master Ming was probably traumatized by it. But at this moment, young Master Ming had completely forgotten the past, and was even willing to sacrifice himself and the Confucian alliance. Dustless could not help but think of a saying, the parents' orders, the matchmaker's words. Both sides of the marriage have no right to choose. This was the case for ancient people when they got married and had children. They had no right to choose. So obedient. Seeing young Master Ming, who did not even blink, as if everything was as it should be, Dustless smacked his lips, but he still remained silent. The thinking of a modern person was completely different from that of the ancient people. Some of the views of modern people were deviant in the eyes of the ancient people. On the contrary, in the eyes of Dustless, the thinking of the ancient people was also inflexible in the eyes of modern people. Take young Master Ming in front of him for example. She was asked to marry, and the person was an enemy with whom she had a grudge. However, young Master Ming did not say a word because of the orders of the school of Yin Yang. In Dustless's eyes, she was really stubborn. On the contrary, young Master Ming's behavior was normal in the eyes of the ancient people, such as Fu Nian and the others. I said that I have something to deal with. Forgive me for not accompanying you. Cupping his hands, Dustless brushed past her. Wait, from now on, you're not allowed to hide anything from me. Her body trembled slightly, and like a shadow, young Master Ming once again blocked in front of Dustless. Ha! Hearing this, Dustless subconsciously cried out, and said in confusion, this is just a deal. You don't have to be so serious. Just put on an act, I won't make things difficult for you. As for the marriage, you don't have to be. No. Unexpectedly, before Dustless could finish his sentence, Xiao Ximing's tone was no longer as aloof as before. She repeated, this is His Excellency East Emperor's order, not a real show. No matter what, the school of Yin Yang and the school of Confucianism must be connected through marriage. One had to understand that Gao Jianli and the Snow Lady had always been inseparable in the past, and they would advance and retreat together. Now, because of a Dustless, there was ambiguity, which really surprised everyone. Dustless, that kid, seeing this, Gao Jianli's expression immediately changed, and his breathing became heavy. His right hand couldn't help but grab Yi Shui Han. The Snow Lady actually had a different opinion from him, and Gao Jianli couldn't help but place all the blame on Dustless. Ever since this kid had appeared, the hearts of the Mo family members had started to show signs of falling apart. The Snow Lady was still fine. Although she would sometimes change sides at the last minute, such as now, Gao Jianli still believed in her. In the Mo family, especially Duanmu Rong, it was as if she had been bewitched, and she had a kind of blind trust in Dustless. Everyone, please don't misunderstand. It wasn't Dustless who initiated the marriage with the Yin-Yang school. This time, the person who randomly matched the couple was young Master Fu Su. Zhang Liang mentioned an important person that no one expected. So what? Even if it was Dustless who rashly interfered, Dustless can't get away from this matter. Gao Jinli snorted coldly, and didn't appreciate it. There are so many disciples in the Confucian school, why did they choose Dustless? This is a question that deserves to be explored. I still believe in him. Duanmu Rong didn't care about Gao Jinli's doubts. She still believed that Dustless wouldn't harm the Mo family. However, deep in her eyes, there was an unprecedented sadness brewing. The marriage partner is the Yin-Yang school's young arbiter Ming. Duanmu Rong stared at Zhang Liang, her voice trembling. That's right. I heard that the marriage will be held in the Confucian school's Little Sage Manor, so I've decided to secretly kill young arbiter Ming. This way, the Yin-Yang school will definitely be angry with the Confucian school. After all, she died in the Little Sage Manor. Although Zhang Liang's voice was frivolous, it was as firm as a rock. It was clear that he was serious. But this way, the Confucian school will also be greatly harmed and will definitely be severely punished, Gunya said with a frown. Although Zhang Liang's plan sounded good, it would also harm the Confucian school. Zhang Liang was a member of the Confucian school, and now he wanted to harm the Confucian school. There's no other way. This is the only way I can think of right now. Confucius said, fish is what I desire. Bear paws are also what I desire. If I can't have both, I'll give up the fish for the bear paws. Life is also what I desire. Righteousness is also what I desire. If I can't have both, I'll give up my life for righteousness. Zhang Liang spoke of the Confucian school's classics. It was clear that he wanted to give up on the Confucian school and walk down the path of darkness. Zichen, although you are young and illiterate, your knowledge is broad. In the future, you will be the third master of Confucianism. Chapter 1867. Zichen, although you're young and illiterate, you're quite knowledgeable. In the future, you'll be the third master of Confucianism. When he heard this, Dustless felt like his brain wasn't enough to process it. Perhaps Fu Nian was joking with him. The atmosphere was silent for a while. None of the four spoke, but Dustless kept staring at Fu Nian. Finally, after a few seconds, he saw that Fu Nian still had a serious expression on his face. He finally confirmed that this guy was serious and definitely not joking. Fu Nian abolished Zhang Liang's position as the third master of Confucianism and promoted Dustless. The affairs of the world are truly unpredictable. Back then, it was Zhang Liang who brought me into Confucianism. Now, my luck has changed and I've successfully counterattacked. Zhang Liang actually became my stepping stone. Zhang Liang looked at him in disbelief. Not to mention him, even Dustless thought that it was an illusion. From the time he entered Confucianism until today, Dustless had only joined Confucianism for a little more than a rainy day. However, the speed of his promotion made everyone blush with shame. Especially now that he had taken Zhang Liang's position as the third master of Confucianism. From Fu Nian's resolute tone and resolute eyes, it could be seen that this wasn't an impulsive decision. Senior brother, Zichen is still young. You can't. As Zhang Liang's good friend, Yan Lu immediately began to support Zhang Liang. Zifang is in the wrong, but he shouldn't, enough, second junior brother. With a wave of his hand, Fu Nian stopped Yan Lu from continuing. We are disciples of Confucianism, so we should think for Confucianism. From the moment we joined Confucianism, we were no longer people of the 7 nations. The country doesn't matter to us anymore. Since Zifang can't see through the past and wants to recover Korea, we can only temporarily take back your position as the 3rd master of Confucianism. It won't be too late to return it to you when you repent. After glancing at Zhang Liang, Fu Nian finally left in a huff. In fact, Fu Nian was forced to do this. He still cared about this junior brother of his. However, the differences between the two were too great. Fu Nian wanted to form an alliance with the Yin-Yang school. In the future, the status of Confucianism would inevitably rise. With the power of Qin, it was only a matter of time before Confucianism flourished. Zhang Liang, on the other hand, wanted to overthrow Qin and recover Korea, which was 1,000 miles away from Fu Nian's plan. In the end, he could only strip Zhang Liang of his identity. This sh*t stirrer, he's getting his retribution. Wu Chen snickered in his heart as he stared at the absent-minded Zhang Liang. His eyes narrowed into a line, and then he patted Zhang Liang's shoulder before leaving with Fu Nian. Zifang, you don't have to be sad. I'm just a little angry. When the weather is better, I'll plead for you. Looking at Fu Nian and Wu Chen leaving, Yan Lu said encouragingly, don't worry, I'll always be on your side. But it's useless. Hearing this, Zhang Liang could only smile bitterly and sigh in disappointment. I know eldest senior brother's character. He wants to bring Confucianism to greater heights and become the leader of the 100 schools of thought. I can empathize with his thoughts, but neither the Qin kingdom nor the school of Yin-Yang are the best choices. Why don't we ask Uncle Master Sun for help? Yan Lu's eyes lit up. Uncle Master Sun. Zhang Liang's spirit was lifted. Then, he remembered the special relationship between Dustless and Sun Zi. He shook his head and denied, that's even more impossible. Zichen gave his Yellowstone Heavenly Book to Uncle Master Sun to study. Uncle Master Sun will definitely stand on Zichen's side. And don't forget, Uncle Master Sun was the one who proposed the idea that human nature is evil. How can he overthrow his own theory now? Also, second senior brother, you've forgotten one thing. Uncle Master Sun cultivates both Confucianism and legalism. In history, Sun Zi cultivated both Confucianism and legalism. The current world was no exception. His disciples, Li Si and Han Fei, were the same. As expected, I've let a wolf into my house. How ironic. Looking at Dustless's gradually disappearing back, Zhang Liang looked up at the sky and realized that he had lost everything. The person who brought Dustless into Confucianism was himself, and the person who took away his status today was Dustless. TSK, the 3rd master of Confucianism? It doesn't seem bad. There are no unnecessary trivial matters to deal with, and there's also an extraordinary identity. It's barely acceptable. Dustless followed behind Fu Nian and did not dislike this identity. The 3rd master of Confucianism did not have any real power and was happy to be at ease. However, in terms of status and identity, it was higher than ordinary Confucian disciples. However, this guy is really cunning. Looking at Fu Nian's deep expression, Dustless smiled but did not say anything. Crippling Zhang Liang was not an impulsive and ignorant act. Fu Nian probably decided to give Dustless the identity of one of the 3 great families of Confucianism after some contemplation. Dustless was just an ordinary disciple in Confucianism. Other than being powerful, his identity was very ordinary. However, young Master Ming was an elder of the Yin-Yang school. Her identity was not suitable, and it was inevitable that people would gossip. By giving Dustless the identity of the 3rd master, he would also speak up for Confucianism in front of the Yin-Yang school in the future. After thinking for a while, Fu Nian gave the identity of the 3rd master to Dustless. Fu Nian, To be able to become the head of the Confucian school, he is indeed a far-sighted person. Chapter 1868. Zhang Liang was definitely the most pitiful person in this matter. Not only was he stripped of his status as one of the three great families, but the most tragic thing was that the person who replaced him as the third head was the rising star dustless. The chances of him taking back his status and position was probably zero. Of course, if Zhang Liang was willing to repent and change, Fu Nian might return his status to him. However, Zhang Liang, the third head, would definitely become the fourth head. One day later, in the evening, the stars dotted the sky and the moonlight shone like a plate. The mulberry sea was close to the sea, and the scenery at night was pleasant. However, the streets were empty. Not even a ghost appeared, let alone a person. Above the void, there was a large number of mechanical bats flying, monitoring the entire mulberry sea. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, a black shadow silently flashed by. Because it was so fast, only a faint sound could be heard. Even the shadow could not be seen clearly. It was as fast as lightning. Phew. After staying in the little sage manor for so long, there is indeed something wrong with my head. The fresh air outside is still more suitable for me. A frivolous voice suddenly sounded. Looking closely, that unbelievably fast black shadow was actually Dustless, who had sneaked out for a walk at night. However, Dustless did not come out alone, but had a date with a beauty. You are as fast as always. On top of a tree, a beautiful figure stood steadily on the green leaves. Under the hazy moonlight, her slender and straight purple hair danced in the wind. That cold figure was easy to see. Looking up, it was the Yin-Yang School's young master Ming. Why did you call me out? Staring at the cold and aloof young master Ming, Dustless asked in surprise. The person who had asked him out tonight was the Yin-Yang School's young master Ming. As for why she was entangled, Dustless did not understand. Since he was bored in the little sage manor, he might as well sneak out. Of course there is. Don't forget, we will be getting married in a few days. It is necessary to get to know you. Young Master Ming said in a matter-of-fact tone. Really, she is different from the young Master Ming in my impression. Dustless let out a long sigh. Before he crossed over to this world, Xiaoxi Ming was a quiet girl in his eyes. But now, it seemed that this was not the case. She was quite honest. Of course, it was understandable that Dustless was a special case. Facing other people, young Master Ming remained silent. Speaking of which, if one day you suddenly discovered that your fiancé, that is, me, had suddenly become the enemy of your Yin-Yang School, what would you do? Wu Qin changed the topic and asked expectantly. The man who was about to marry Xiaoxi Ming was Ziqin, Dustless in disguise. It would only be a matter of time before he was exposed. By then, Dustless and young Master Ming would become enemies again. Why ask such a question? Frowning her shapely eyebrows, Xiaoxi Ming looked at Wu Qin and gave an unexpected answer. Actually, it's not important. The key is your attitude. Attitude. Hearing this, Dustless felt strange. He asked, what do you mean? If you are willing to be loyal to the Yin-Yang School and have no second thoughts, you can naturally turn hostility into friendship. But if you insist on going against the current, you will definitely be crushed. Xiaoxi Ming told him the truth. It is indeed the style of the Yin-Yang School. Dustless smiled. But in his heart, he did not agree. Want him to be loyal to the Yin-Yang School? That was impossible. It was more likely that the Yin-Yang School would submit to Dustless. But it was undeniable that the Yin-Yang School was a decent sect. They were quite open-minded and willing to take in an enemy. Dong Guangtai's attitude were indeed extraordinary. Normally, people would torture their captives to obtain useful information. Shoo shoo shoo. Right at this moment, an unusual weak ripple appeared in the air. Dustless also clearly felt an unusual bone-piercing coldness. Countless beams of cold light came from afar. They seemed to be some kind of sharp weapon like darts. However, what was strange was that those darts ignored Dustless, who was close to them, and went straight for young Master Ming, who was even further away. Sneak attack. Squinting his eyes, Dustless saw a few figures appear in the air. The first person that came to his mind was Zhang Liang, who was very concerned about this matter. The Confucian school and the Yin-Yang school working together was the most harmful to him. It was normal for this kid to want to kill Xiao Ximing. It doesn't seem to be Zhang Liang. Looking over, Dustless frowned and found that they were all unfamiliar faces. He thought it was Wei Zhuang's Lu Sha. Who would have thought that they were just passers-by? Shoo shoo shoo. Facing the incoming sharp weapon, young Master Ming calmly and gracefully tiptoed against the ground, easily dodging the incoming dark silhouette. Buzz buzz buzz. Not only that, Xiao Ximing immediately launched a counterattack. Countless green leaves came from all directions and condensed into a long green leaf whip according to Xiao Ximing's will. Xiao Ximing, don't kill these assassins. They still have some use. I want to see who is so daring to sneak attack us in the middle of the night. With a sinister smile, Wu Chen's left eye suddenly turned into a dark purple reincarnation Sharingan. 9 dark and mysterious magatama hung above the eye socket. It looked very strange and neither fish nor fowl. Are you ordering me? Young Master Ming glanced at Wu Chen discontentedly, then snorted as if she didn't like it. However, the power in her hand was reduced, and the number of green leaves under her control was also reduced. You, Xiao Ximing, Xiao Ximing, Xiao Ximing's, Xiao Ximing, Xiao Ximing, Xiao Ximing. Seeing that this person was so stubborn, Wu Chen didn't bother to talk nonsense. He grabbed his head with his right hand and activated Rinnegan's eye power and began to extract his memory. What Xiao Xi? Seeing the evil Sharingan in Dustless's left eye, Xiao Ximing's body trembled unnaturally. She subconsciously looked away with a pale face. She felt uneasy when she looked into those mysterious eyes. Her heart felt like it was going to jump out of her chest. The hair all over her body stood on end as if she had met her mortal enemy. TSK, it is indeed that sinister Zhao Gao and Li Si. The ability of these two to collude with each other is indeed extraordinary. After a long while, Dustless softly muttered as he revealed the mastermind behind the scene. Zhao Gao and Li Si. Aren't they on our side? Xiao Ximing slightly raised her eyebrows, opened her cherry lips, looked at Dustless suspiciously and asked, "Did you make a mistake?" The Yin-Yang school is an ally of the state of Qin. Allies? It was too comical. There were no absolute allies in this world. Only those who can benefit from each other can be regarded as true allies. The Yin-Yang school and the Qin state can only be regarded as using each other. Moreover, Zhao Gao and Li Si are extremely treacherous. The people they scam are their allies. Dustless said frankly. Zhao Gao and Li Si were both famous treacherous officials. Didn't Fu Su die because of them? It was undeniable that Zhao Gao was a treacherous official, but Li Si was a person with mixed reputation. This person did have extraordinary ability. Being able to become the Prime Minister of the state of Qin showed that Li Si was extraordinary. But as the saying goes, no one is perfect. Li Si also had his own goals and selfishness. Therefore, in the end, he and Zhao Gao caused the death of Fu Su and Meng Tian. Zhang Liang is an ally of the Mo family, right? But when the Mo family was in the mechanical city, he did nothing as he watched the Mo family's disciples get slaughtered by Wei Zhuang. Is this what an ally is? Dustless's words made Xiao Ximing speechless. She could only look at the former in a daze. In short, allies are used to scam and betray. What you said seems to make some sense. After a moment of silence, Xiao Ximing nodded as if she understood. In fact, she was not good at scheming. She was more concerned about her own strength. Zhao Gao and Li Si really put in a lot of effort to destroy the alliance between the Yin-Yang school and the Confucian school. But this is normal. Although their actions are too stupid and are no different from seeking death. Since the heavens let them live in this world, they have the right to struggle. The weak are innocent. But if he wants to recklessly challenge someone stronger than him, then he's courting death. Dustless's eyes surged with red light. Chapter 1870. It was no wonder that Xiao Ximing felt a sense of déjà vu. When Dustless beat up Xing Hun, he had used the Sharingan, and Xing Hun had reminded the school of Yin Yang about it. However, there had been too many things recently, especially the fact that she was about to marry Zichen of the Confucian school. Xiao Ximing's heart was in a mess, so she didn't remember it. Pointing at the assassin whose head Dustless had grabbed, Xiao Ximing asked calmly, "You can search other people's memories." "That's right." Wu Qin nodded calmly and told him bluntly, "After I extract his memory, he will completely die. The consequence of his soul being damaged is quite serious. If he is lucky, he will become an idiot. If he is unlucky, he will go to hell to report." "I see." Hearing this, Xiao Ximing nodded slightly. She couldn't help but stare at Wu Qin in astonishment. She truly felt that this Confucian disciple was too strange. Almost everything he knew was heterodox and unorthodox, but he didn't know anything about the Confucian school's literary attainments. "I heard that you became the third head of the Confucian school of Yin Yang." Xiao Ximing suddenly asked with a hint of concern in her voice. "Don't be fooled by the Confucian school of Yin Yang. The Mahists are all traitors, and the Confucians are not good people either." "I should be the one saying that to you." Dustless rolled his eyes. Compared to the Mahists and Confucians, the school of Yin Yang was just as strange. He should be wary of Xiao Ximing. Of course, Xiao Ximing's words made sense. The school of Yin Yang and the school of Yin Yang both had their own ambitions. They just had different standpoints. Dustless didn't care who was right and who was wrong. "Speaking of which, what memories did you see?" Seeing the faint smile on Dustless's face, Xiao Ximing couldn't help but ask curiously, could it be Zhao Gao and Li Si's big secret? "Something like that." Dustless nodded and sneered, "They just want to kill one of us and force the school of Yin Yang and the school of Yin Yang to turn against each other." Li Si and Zhang Liang's goal was similar to Zhang Liang's. "Are you mistaken? This kind of thing doesn't benefit them." Young Ximing couldn't figure it out no matter how hard she thought about it. This kind of thankless task didn't seem to benefit Zhao Gao at all. "It's right that you don't understand. It has something to do with the power disputes within the Qin kingdom." Dustless paused for a moment. After sorting out his thoughts, he said, "The school of Yin Yang and the Confucian school have a good impression of young Master Fu Su. In the future battle for the throne of the empire, Li Si and Zhao Gao are afraid that we will side with young Master Fu Su. If both the school of Yin Yang and the Confucian school supported Fu Su, then there was no need for the others to fight for the throne." Fu Su was already appreciated by Ying Jing, and if he had the support of the school of Yin Yang and the Confucian school as well, then the others would be finished. However, Zhao Gao and Li Si had another candidate in mind, Hu Hai. "It's normal for you to be confused if you don't understand." Voidless looked at the confused young Master Ming. She probably didn't understand what he was saying at all. "Are you looking down on me again?" Hearing this, a faint look of anger appeared on Xiao Ximing's calm face. She seemed to be very dissatisfied with Dustless's attitude. His casual and frivolous tone clearly showed that he was looking down on her. "Again? When did I look down on you? And why did you use the word again? It makes it sound like I've looked down on you many times." Dustless smiled embarrassedly and changed the topic. "Anyway, Li Si won't let the Confucian school and the school of Yin Yang form an alliance. After the two schools form an alliance, their strength will be too strong, and it will threaten Li Si and Zhao Gao's position. You have to be careful in the future. You're looking down on me again, Xiao Ximing pouted, looking very dissatisfied with Dushless. It's because you don't think I'm strong enough that you told me to be careful. If this isn't looking down on me, then what is? Don't try to deny it. This girl. I thought she didn't like to talk. She's quite eloquent. Wu Chen couldn't help but be dumbfounded. Xiao Ximing's words made him speechless. Frankly speaking, young Master Ming's current performance was completely different from what he had expected. There was a huge difference. That's not bad. It's better than being a mute who never talks. Looking at Xiao Ximing's delicate face, Dustless smiled and felt relieved. He asked, "Why are you looking for me in the middle of the night? Don't tell me you're just here to chat. Lord Donghuang invites you to the Mirage for a chat." Looking at Dustless, Xiao Ximing said, "It's getting late. Come with me. I knew you're not here for a date." Dustless hummed and looked very unhappy. He asked impatiently, "That Donghuang Tai?" "It's Lord Donghuang." Before Dustless could finish his nonsense, Xiao Ximing interrupted him and said seriously, "Calling Donghuang by his name has serious consequences. It's disrespectful. It's none of my business. I'm not a disciple of the school of Yin Yang." Dustless didn't care. No matter how mysterious and powerful Donghuang Tai was, he was just an ordinary person. Was there a need to respect him like a god? Besides, God knows how many gods have died in my hands, let alone Donghuang Tai. Dustless snorted in his mind. He didn't care about Donghuang Tai at all. Instead, he felt that Xiao Ximing and the others had been brainwashed. Why is the leader of the school of Yin Yang looking for me? Following Xiao Ximing, Dustless asked out of boredom, "Are you trying to persuade me to join the school of Yin Yang? You made me wait for so long." Dustless furrowed his brows as his gaze swept over to the source of the voice. What entered his vision was Xing Hun, who was standing with his hands clasped behind his back. "Don't speak in such a tone. I'm afraid others will misunderstand." Dustless shook his finger with an expression that said, "I'm not familiar with you." Misunderstand? What misunderstand? Xing Han didn't understand what Dustless was talking about and looked at him in confusion. "I'm afraid others will say that my sexual orientation is abnormal." With that, Dustless left with young Si Ming, ignoring Xing Han's pale face. Dustless thought that young Si Ming would bring him directly to see Donghuang Tai, but instead, she brought him to a room with a nice environment. "It's getting late. I'll bring you to see His Excellency Donghuang tomorrow. Tonight, you can rest here. I'll be staying next door. Just look for me if you need anything." As soon as she finished speaking, young Si Ming was about to leave. Gosh, that Donghuang Tai is really good at putting on airs. Seeing young Si Ming leaving and heading next door, Dustless mumbled to himself. Then, he closed the door decisively and left a shadow clone to replace him. As for his real body, he went to look for Great Si Ming. Anyway, Dustless had left the Flying Thunder God Warlock on Great Si Ming a long time ago. Although the elusive mirage was huge, finding Great Si Ming was just a matter of thought. In the misty room, a few naked figures could be vaguely seen. They were hidden in the mist, and their snow-white bodies made one's imagination run wild. I can't figure out what they're planning. Why would the school of Yin Yang ally with the Confucian school? Now, young Si Ming is going to marry Dustless. What is Donghuang Tai trying to do? Great Si Ming soaked in the water lazily. His rosy cheeks were filled with confusion. He was a little jealous of young Si Ming. Although he had become Dustless's woman, they were not officially married. Now that young Si Ming had gotten to him first, Great Si Ming was jealous. "I don't know." Moon God also shook her head. What was Dong Huang Tai thinking? She could not figure it out no matter how hard she tried. Beside Moon God was a pretty girl. She was swimming around in the hot spring. Sometimes, she would let out a pleasant laugh. She was Moon Goddess. Plop. At this moment, the peaceful atmosphere was suddenly broken. A black figure suddenly flew out of the void and fell into the hot spring under the shocked gazes of Moon Goddess, Great Si Ming, and Moon Goddess. Gosh, people from the school of Yin Yang are really extravagant to be able to soak in a hot spring on the ship. Wu Chen, who had fallen into the water, finally managed to climb out of the water to catch his breath. He looked up and saw 3 naked bodies. Yueshen, Great Si Ming, and Yu Er were all staring at him without moving. If I said I didn't do it on purpose, you would believe me, right? She looked at him with puppy eyes. You are so adorable. After sighing, Dustless hesitated for a moment before he agreed. I was the one who sent you to the school of Yin Yang. You have been living alone in the Mirage Tower. It must have been hard on you. I will help you save your mother this time. Consider it my compensation to you. After saying this calmly, Xiao Ximing's voice stopped again. Dustless turned his head slightly and stole a glance at Xiao Ximing. She had already changed into a white coat, which was almost the same as what Yueshen and Great Si Ming had said. In Dustless's eyes, it was as if it was transparent. Strange, after walking out of young Master Ming's bedroom, Dustless said without hesitation, the kunai was clearly placed at the door. Why did it enter young Master Ming's room? Did I remember wrongly? His mind was like paste, overturning the sky and the earth. It was a mess. Forget it, I'll go to sleep. Suddenly, Dustless stopped walking. He turned around and walked towards his room, but Xiao Ximing blocked his way. You're lying to me. After observing Dustless for a while, Xiao Ximing said slowly, didn't you notice the difference in the room just now? Dustless fell silent. He really didn't notice anything. All the rooms in the Mirage were the same. What difference could there be? The room you saw me changing my clothes in was actually your own room. Xiao Ximing said something shocking, and her eyes were filled with shrewdness. No wonder. I told you Dustless couldn't have placed the kunai in the wrong place. Dustless's confusion was suddenly solved. When he opened his mouth to argue, Xiao Ximing's beautiful voice made Dustless pause. He had to swallow the words that were about to come out of his mouth. You must have sneaked out just now, right? And I also smelled a unique scent from your body. It's very similar to the faint scent of Yueshen, and... Xiao Ximing squinted her eyes and continued, there are still water stains on your clothes that haven't been dried yet. There's no water around. If it's tea, it must have the scent of tea. Unfortunately, it's not. Don't you want to explain it to me? This woman who always looks like she doesn't know anything about the world is actually very shrewd. It's the complete opposite of her naive face. Dustless was secretly shocked. He fell into the water just now, and when he came back, his body was still wet. He had to use chakra to evaporate a large amount of water stains, but his clothes were still wet. As for the scent of Yueshen, Dustless didn't know. Maybe it was because he accidentally touched it when he fell into the water just now. If you don't give me a reasonable explanation. What explanation? Dustless had an idea. He immediately started to pester endlessly. He said angrily, you people from the school of Yin Yang really don't know etiquette. That woman called Yueshen actually took me away to investigate. How dare you? And I was afraid that you would be worried, so I purposely hid that I was sleeping. Now you're looking at me with such a betraying gaze. Xiao Ximing, you're so unreasonable. I'm so sad. I'll just divorce you. Chapter 1874. Hearing this, Xiao Ximing was stunned for a long time. After staring at Dustless for a while, she suddenly felt a breath of cold air. Only then did Xiao Ximing come back to her senses. Taking a closer look, it was Wu Chen with a grave and stern face. This aggrieved expression seemed like he had suffered a great humiliation. You want to divorce me?" Her eyes widened a few times. Even with Xiao Ximing's indifferent personality, she still trembled as she spoke. She was truly shocked by Dustless's "I want to divorce you. You're still so arrogant after making a mistake." Xiao Ximing's eyes were fixed on Dustless's face. Her worldview was refreshed. This bastard clearly made a mistake, but he still looked like he was framing her. Shameless to the extreme. Huff, 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 young Master Ming's career trembled in anger. Her hair-raising curves dazzled Wu Chen's eyes, and he almost couldn't help drooling. When Xiao Ximing was still like a virgin, there was a kind of tranquil beauty. Even though she was angry now, there was a different kind of charm. "You're twisting words." Xiao Ximing gritted her teeth and coldly retorted, "Dustless, you were the one who made a mistake first, and you still dare to say that you want to divorce me? Why wouldn't I dare?" Dustless looked back at Xiao Ximing and said loudly, "I'm going to divorce you this time. Hurry up and bring me a pen and paper. I'm going to break up with you right now." Hearing this, Xiao Ximing's pretty face darkened. Anger was rolling in the depths of her eyes. Xiao Ximing had always been loyal to Dong Huangtai's orders. Even if he asked her to die, she would do it without hesitation. Since Dong Huangtai ordered her to marry Dustless, then Xiao Ximing would definitely not refuse. "You want to divorce me?" "Not a chance." Xiao Ximing pouted her thin lips and glanced at Dustless before leaving. "After I ask the moon god about the details, I'll come back to deal with you. If you're lying, I'll make you regret it." As soon as she finished speaking, young Arbiter Ming turned into a breeze and left. What a naive fool. The moon goddess is one of my people. Do you even need to think about what will happen to her? You will definitely lose everything. Dustless, who was extremely bored, went back to his room to sleep as he watched her leave in a huff. Needless to say, the moon god must be on Dustless's side. Naturally, she would agree to Dustless's statement that young Arbiter Ming was destined to fail. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was already late at night. After working hard for half the night, Dustless also felt a burst of bone-deep fatigue. His head was dizzy, and just as he fell on the bed, he fell into a deep sleep. About 4 to 6 hours later, Dustless subconsciously opened his eyes when he felt a faint movement in his body. The lights in the room were turned on again. The strangest thing was that young Master Ming was sitting beside Dustless, staring at the confused Dustless without blinking. You're not going to kill me, are you?" After being stunned for a few seconds, Dustless rubbed his eyes and asked, "If that's the case, I advise you to stop. You should know the difference in strength between you and me." "Sorry, I was too reckless before." With an apologetic look on her beautiful face, young Master Ming said in a low voice, "I just heard the moon goddess say that she did capture you for interrogation." "I'm sorry, Zichin." Dustless's lips curled into a fleeting smile. He sighed in his heart, "Just as I predicted, this crisis is finally resolved. All right, it's fine. You can go back now. My head hurts, I'm going to sleep." After apologizing, Dustless didn't want to continue pestering her. He was in the wrong, and young Master Ming wasn't in the wrong. He should forgive and forget. "You won't divorce me, right?" Clenching the corner of her shirt, Xiao Ximing asked nervously, "I have apologized, and you have forgiven me?" "Hi." Hearing this, for some reason, Dustless's sleepiness disappeared without a trace. Seeing young Master Ming's tense face, Dustless felt a stabbing pain in his heart. Was Dong Huangtai's order that important to her? Dustless could tell that young Master Ming was so nervous because she was worried that he would divorce her. It wasn't that young Master Ming liked him. She was just worried that she couldn't complete the mission given by Dong Huang Tai. For the school of Yin Yang, Dong Huang Tai was everything. But the cruel thing was that young Master Ming was just an insignificant chess piece in Dong Huang Tai's eyes. From the marriage between young Master Ming and the Confucian school, it could be seen that young Master Ming could be abandoned at any time. I'm fine, young Master Ming. Let's get along well in the future. You can go back first. I just have a headache. I'll be fine after some rest. Shaking his head, Dustless was about to lie down again when he noticed that his pillow was taken away. Will this make you feel better? The young Master Ming put Wu Chen's head on her legs. The soft feeling was very comfortable. Wu Chen could even smell the orchid fragrance of the young Master Ming's body. She was also very considerate as she massaged Wu Chen's temples. You. Young Master Ming, there's no need for that. I've already forgiven you. I said that I would divorce you in a moment of anger. I'll take it back now. Dustless suddenly felt a little embarrassed about the hard-earned pillow. After all, he was the one who shamelessly asked for it. I was too reckless tonight. Young Master Ming said stubbornly, sleep well. This is my responsibility. I'm the one who caused your headache, so I'll take care of it. What a pity. Dustless sighed in his heart. He was already planning to kill Dong Huang Tai, that crazy brainwashing demon. If it was in the past, young Master Ming would definitely understand what it meant to be a man with iron blood. But now, the situation was different. Since Great Master Ming helped Dustless to disguise himself, Dustless's appearance was a disguise. His current identity was still Ziqin, and it wouldn't make sense for him to do it with her. Chapter 1876. Hee. But, Dustless's eyes were glowing as he stared at young Master Ming's beautiful body. Sleeping together didn't mean they had to do anything inappropriate, they could communicate in other ways. For example, seeing young Master Ming crawl into his bed, Dustless didn't hold back and crawled in as well. If he continued to be a coward, young Master Ming would definitely look down on him and even despise him. You. Don't touch my leg. Noticing Dustless's strange movements, young Master Ming snorted and complained. Her cheeks were red, and she wanted to scold Dustless. However, a special electric current flowed through her body, and she ended up moaning like a spoiled child. Oh, sorry, my hand slipped. Dustless smirked and completely ignored young Master Ming's feelings. That's my left leg, don't touch it. That's my chest. Don't touch me. Dustless was originally very tired, but after young Master Ming's tantrum, he didn't feel sleepy at all. The two spent the whole night in the warm bed and talked about the future. The scene was quite harmonious. They only fell asleep at dawn, and when they woke up again, it was already afternoon. Geez, my head is even dizzier. Dustless opened his eyes in a daze. He suddenly felt that his right arm was a little numb. Just as he was about to rub it, he suddenly stopped. This guy really knows how to enjoy himself. Looking at young Master Ming, Dustless didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She was sleeping peacefully on Dustless's right arm, and there was a faint smile on her peaceful face. She looked quite satisfied. Now that he thought about it, young Master Si Ming's life was very monotonous in the past. Other than cultivating, she probably did nothing else. She was just like a machine. Now that she had Wu Chen, an experienced player, to accompany her, her life was more interesting than before. Dustless didn't do much to the arbiter of fate last night. They just had some fun, and it wasn't too bad. At the very least, it was much happier than when he was studying in the Confucian school. Let's sleep a little longer. Dustless pulled Xiao Si Ming into his embrace with his right arm. He narrowed his eyes again. His pair of small hands couldn't help but become restless again. He pinched left and right, skillfully and vigorously on Xiao Ximing's body. You don't have any self-awareness at all. You actually pretended to sleep with me. I'll make you regret it. Dustless snickered in his heart, and the kung fu in his hands became even more intense. Noticing the change in young Master Ming's expression, even though she hid it very well, the corner of her mouth and eyelashes moved slightly without leaving a trace. Dustless's sharp eyes caught everything. Since young Master Ximing liked acting, then Dustless would accompany her to the end. After all, he wasn't the one at a disadvantage. Still not up. Xing Han looked at the servant in front of him with extreme dissatisfaction. He was secretly furious. Just now, he had sent someone to inform young Master Ming that she was going to Mulberry Sea City to carry out a mission to search for the Mo family's traitors. In the end, Xing Han was stunned that young Master Ming was actually lazing in bed. Xing Han wouldn't believe such a thing even if he was beaten to death. Lord Xing Han, please calm down. Yun Zhongjuan looked at the angry Xing Han and comforted him. Lord Xing Han, young people are like this. Everything depends on their mood. Why bother arguing with them? You're just lowering yourself. That's reasonable. Arguing with that fellow is too much for him. Xing Han retracted his anger and regained his calm. He said gloomily, I keep feeling that Zichen is strange. The person who brought him into the Confucian school is undoubtedly Zhang Liang, but I've investigated his background and identity. It's all a blank. It's as if he appeared out of thin air. That's right. Yun Zhongjuan stroked his beard and whispered into Xing Han's ear, Lord Xing Han, did you not find anything else suspicious? What else is there? Xing Han frowned and asked doubtfully, are you talking about Zichen's martial arts? He doesn't seem to be taught by the Confucian school. That's just one of the reasons. Yun Zhongjuan shook his head and explained, to be honest, I heard that Zichen is inextricably linked to the moon goddess and has an unusual relationship with Great Sea Ming. Someone once saw Great Sea Ming and Zichen having a secret rendezvous in Mulberry Sea. Moon goddess and Great Sea Ming. It was as if Xing Han's inner demon had been triggered. He immediately pricked up his ears. Tell me the details. Hearing this, Yun Zhongjuan told him the information he heard a few days ago in detail. His expression was indescribably strange. You're saying that Great Sea Ming and Zichen are suspected of having an affair. After a while, Xing Han, who had heard the whole story, also had a strange expression. He couldn't help but let his imagination run wild. He hurriedly asked, are you sure about this? It's best if you have actual evidence. I don't have that. Yun Zhongjuan had a helpless expression. In fact, when his subordinates were buying medicine, they happened to see Dustless and Great Sea Ming coming out of the inn. As for what happened, no one knew the details. Forget it. Even if there's no evidence, I can still take the opportunity to get rid of Great Sea Ming. Also, Zichen, why does he look so suspicious? When Lord Dongwang mentioned about the marriage alliance with the Confucian school, I strongly opposed it. But, anyway, I heard that the kid is going to meet Lord Dongwang today. I can take the opportunity to get rid of Great Sea Ming and Zichen. Xing Han's eyes flashed coldly. Ever since he used Great Sea Ming as a meat shield, their relationship had almost broken down. Even though Great Sea Ming still called him Lord Xing Han, they were still not on good terms. He could take the opportunity to meet Dongwang Tai to expose Dustless and Great Sea Ming and get rid of them. Chapter 1877. Originally, Xing Han was extremely unhappy with the two of them. He had always wanted to attack them but did not have a suitable excuse. This time, Yun Zhongjuan provided a good reason. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How could Xing Han, who had been thinking of taking revenge on Dustless and Great Sea Ming, let go of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? Speaking of which, I also want to see who Zichin of the Confucian school is. Your Excellency East Emperor actually wants to meet him personally. I have never heard of such a thing before. Yun Zhongjuan's tone was filled with anticipation. He wanted to see Dustless's face. Maybe you will be disappointed after you see him. Xing Han looked at Yun Zhongjuan with dissatisfaction. Then, he flicked his sleeves and left angrily. If possible, Xing Han hoped to have a big fight with Dustless to defeat him and show him what a real genius was. Is this still the Lord Xing Han who has a big belly? Seeing this, Yun Zhongjuan was truly speechless. He was quite depressed. In the past, Xing Han wasn't so petty. He was extremely magnanimous. Now, he seemed to have changed into a different person. He was extremely petty. Especially when he mentioned Wu Chen, his face turned gloomy. On the other side, when Dustless woke up again, the sun had already set. Dustless and young Si Ming climbed out of the warm blankets. Their faces were still filled with unconcealable laziness. Especially young Si Ming, who was the strangest. Her face was flushed and her temperament was completely different from before. She even had a hint of seductiveness. The coexistence of purity and seductiveness, the fusion of ice and fire. She is like a fairy sent by the heavens. Looking at the clothed young Master Ming, Wu Chen was moved. Occasionally, he could see her white skin through her careless movements. It stretched as far as the eye could see, reaching the deepest part of her body. Dustless, who was distracted, could not help but let his imagination run wild. He could not help but let out a strange laughter. Hee, the sudden laughter made young Master Ming shiver. Her beautiful eyes blinked a few times, and when she turned around and saw Dustless giggling at her, young Master Ming angrily threw a pillow at him. Hurry up and get up. It's already evening. His Excellency Dong Huang said that he would only be free in the morning. There was a hint of regret and self-blame in young Master Ming's voice. She had lost track of time when she was with Dustless. Before she knew it, it was already evening. If it weren't for the servant's reminder, she might still be sleeping, playing. What are you afraid of? Do you think the Eastern Emperor Taiyi will punish us? I'm a disciple of the Confucian school, and the third master at that. He doesn't have the qualifications to criticize me. Dustless's seemingly lazy tone carried a trace of arrogance. It's just East Emperor Taiyi. He was one of the protectors of the school of Yin Yang after all. Being called a shorty was a blatant slap to his face. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.